welcome. We are starting a new chapter in the pirate saga here of the Menagerie Coast. Or a new book, one might even say, depending on how you do it. Our first, of course, was the pirates that currently control Darktow itself, having unseated the Plank King and banished him for a time at least, up until the Ethereal Sea. However, any good Plank King could survive any sea. So we'll see what happens from that. However, our second group, or I said chapter arc of this, had to do with we could say some baby whiskers having to figure out and establish themselves within Nicodranus, and achieved a little bit of some deals, some money, and made a few connections, and ultimately unraveled a piece of a puzzle. For there has been a storm that has gone all the way through the islands here upon Exandria. The issues, of course, have been that the majority of ports have been destroyed. In its wake has left chaos within the seas, and one of the only standing naval powers is the island of Darktow, under the sure hand of Mallory Val Savage. They have been quick to lend aid and try to establish themselves as an allied power, one of help, and potentially put them higher in profile, depending on what works out. They have determined that a woman by the name of Rithia seems to be the one possibly in control of this, having made several druid selves. The baby Whiskers had discovered that at least one organization, known as the League of Miracles, seems to be taking advantage of this, at least in Nicodranus, possibly other port cities, to fix the problem quickly in exchange for power and much, much money. They unable, or I would say lacking the confidence to do much about it themselves. They've mostly reported it and have kept their hands free to do what they need to do. Now, while this is happening, we have our new pirate crew that we're about to meet. They have been teleported by Jajal, the Master Whisker himself, in order to originally make their way to the Shattered Teeth to chase down either Verithia or another, specifically by the name of Hala Mundel. And they, having gotten some news that an old power known as the Lady seems to have fallen, and their island is suffused with other things, or other ownership, have decided to pay it a visit first on their way. So their one-sided mission has now become two. And thus, they made their way by teleport with Jajal to pick up a special ship made by the teddy bear Peaches. And sentences I say. And have set sail in their ship. But we will come upon them in the midst of some fun issues. So, those of you, my players, who are around for the very, very first session of the pirate game may recognize what we're about to do. For the rest of you, it's going to be entirely new, so hold on, and we will explain as we go here. So we are going to pick up in a type of mid-mission, mid-excitement one could say media res for you dorks out there, and we will go ahead and begin to introduce our characters through that, and we'll see how we're going to do that and all those types of things. So hold on to your butts. And like all encounters, you can die, so get ready. Or one of those crew members you put out is gonna be your new character. Oh. Let's do this. All right, we've got some inspirations in chat. 1, 2, 3 from Misbehave. So get ready to use those as the new new crew sets sail. Now, you have been traveling this travel leg for some time. And currently, I would say, find yourselves really, I'd say about 100 miles from Nicodronis, having to catch the winds that bring you slightly closer to the island of Rumpelcusp, and then wanting to make a curve towards the island of Rurkaxel. And there, in the midst of that, a violent storm has begun. Lightning coming from everywhere, rising not from above, but from below. From the sea itself, lightning strikes out to the sky. From there, as it hits where it strikes, dark clouds form and echo it back into the sea. As it hits the sea around you, the water begins to churn and move the ship against what you wish it to do, as that lightning is returning back to the sky to create winds and more darkness, as this is going back and forth, churning around the ship itself and spreading out miles, creating the storm seemingly out of nothing as you've entered these waters. So, as this happens, let's start with the captain. Captain, please tell us what you look out. What immediately we would see you as we kind of come in from the thundering skies, as we do a nice fade to your position and what you're saying, what you're doing. Let's go.
As you pan across, you see a very well-maintained Triton, slick, dark, kind of a sea green hair, glorious goatee, shiny mithril plate armor, and he's yelling just general instructions of, tie this down, tie that down, and, trying to steer as best he can here. But he's anybody that has been around on ships for a long amount of time is starting to think that, he might just be faking it till he makes it. At the moment, he's just yelling out the most generic of instructions and just basically putting on a face as best he can.
Awesome. So, as they're doing this, the camera pans and we see them glance at, you can pick here, either a letter or trinket or carving even in the ship. You can use your creativity here that reminds them of a time when taking control and giving orders led to something less than great, and they don't want it to happen this time. What is that thing? What's it remind them of?
When he was when he was a child, he was the oldest of a handful of siblings, and he grew up on a fishing boat with his dad. It was the only boat previous to this that he'd ever captained, although he won't admit that to anybody else. He is his father was hurt the day before, and so he and his siblings took the fishing boat out instead, and he thought that it would be just fine, and he ended up getting one of his younger siblings injured while out fishing, and having to come back, and his father being very upset with him, and so
yeah. Absolutely. I love it. You look back, and what was the item again you look at?
He's got a stone, almost like a fishing weight thing, but it's tied around on his necklace. It's
I love that.
And it's kind of just, it's there. It's one of two necklaces that he wears, the other with a symbol for the Wild Mother. Nice. But he kind of looks down and, sees both of them, but he more grasps onto, in this moment, the fishing weight.
Perfect. All right. In that case, let's go ahead and do give me charisma plus your captain rank roll to see how you get the ship to go.
Oh, 25. Sorry.
25. Excellent. So, as scared and nervous as you are, figuring it to you're making just going through the generic things. Turns out orders are generic for a reason. The way things are generally done generally work. And so you begin telling them, and even the ones that aren't right, you've hired good crew. The good crew know he really means this, and starts to do what they need to do. Sails come down. They don't want them to get ruined in the storm itself, and you begin to navigate, well, not navigate, but sail nicely through it. The initial storm not hurting the ship right now. However, in the midst of this, the dark clouds, seeing you navigate this so well, begin to form a column where your ship is gently being pushed. Forming out of the column is an odd creature indeed. They are large, about 25 feet, rising out of the clouds themselves. The lightning that moves around seems to be coming from their fingertips, erratically moving. The wind coming out seems to be their breath, their eyes, yellow, clothed in what looks like a funeral shroud of green and blue. They scream. Now, from this, who thinks their character would be reacting to this and doing something? All right, Belden.
So just out of curiosity, how significant or powerful is this force? Like, control winds probably won't rock this thing. It's probably too big. Control water probably won't rock this thing because it's too big. It definitely has electricity or lightning on its grasp. Does it seem to be casting spells, or is it using native abilities?
I would say this seems to be native.
Okay.
This thing. Go ahead and give me a nature or arcana.
You got it. Sweet 22.
Excellent. You look at this thing. You've not even heard of something like this, but you can, taking in the evidence and perceptions of it, it bears the form of a type of giant, but there's something off about it. It doesn't actually seem to have a physical form.
Like some kind of wraith or ethereal
more
thing?
like it's almost like part giant, part elemental,
Okay.
in a sense. So you get it. In other words, I would say you immediately get, like many elementals, this thing isn't of reason, like a giant would be. This thing is more primal, both as predator and in its abilities, as though it itself has become, took what it was and has made itself a storm. But you do think also whatever form it takes could be a way for it to receive damage.
So it is steam, it is cloud, it is lightning. Is that about right?
Yeah, but there is like a blue skin tone. There's like a form there.
Cold or neutral? Like, would fire seem more effective against it?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say I'll give you, because you got a good roll. You think lightning and thunder would be totally useless, and cold not so great.
Captain, this thing is unnatural and strange, and at the end of the day, it's going to take some work to get rid of it. I suggest fire, probably.
Yes, it's not as bad as the great sea elemental I've slain before.
Oh, it's about to be.
No, fire!
All right. Why don't you describe Belden the Broken there?
So, Belden, who just came up on deck from below, is an absolutely hideous, misshapen, deformed, probably inbred mountain dwarf. His arms are different lengths, his legs are different lengths. He walks funny as a hunchback. His face is pockmarked with scabs and scars. His beard is scraggly at best, like little pieces of orange here and there. He is absolutely fugly on the surface. But the longer you get to watch him, the more you realize he's actually completely serene underneath. Just very like calm and relaxed and even. As much as his voice cracks and pitches to reflect his deformity, he's been through a lot of weird stuff. You probably have caught at least the edge of the idea that he was cast out by his dwarven tribe as some kind of bad omen. And he spent a lot of time alone since then. Also, he's a mage wearing armor.
Ooh. All right. So what do you feel like your character would do in this situation?
Given this spot, do I have any decent fire spells at my easy disposal? Chromatic Orb could do a reasonable amount of fire as a first shot. Let me go ahead and burn a... Reaching out with a very twisted hand, burn a 4th level Chromatic Orb to see if it has any effect at all on this thing. I assume it's within 90 feet or not quite?
Absolutely, yeah.
Alright, so let's do 4th level Chromatic Orb. It's going to be a 26 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
And we're going for fire.
Got it.
Damage is going to be 37.
All right.
So Belden fires off his firebolt and just hopes it hits, and then sort of hunkers down a little bit in case.
Nice. It hits there, and you see the face that is form grow in anger as it definitely takes this damage.
Well, that pissed him off.
Very, very well done, Belden. Now, go on the other side of the mast, please.
As you wish.
Oh, thank God. That is hard. He is hard to look at.
Go back to that moment, please. Oh God.
He says that mostly to
Well
himself,
done.
but anybody
Well
that's,
done.
probably within like 10, 15 feet of him probably hears him.
24.
I love it. All right. Then I actually think we got a lot of Belden's character right in that, so I don't think I have an additional thing there. So what you all see this, and I'm gonna say Hey, what is that? Who would like to do next?
So Tronus.
Okay, so Tronus, we're gonna start you a little differently here.
Oh.
So the first thing I need from Tronus, you see, as this thing makes its face, it points at Tronus, and a large gust of targeted wind comes towards you. I need a strength saving throw.
Oh boy. Well, better than any of my other characters. Damn. Okay. That's gonna be a 22.
A 22.
damn.
Absolutely. This comes in, and you are you feel yourself being moved, almost rocketed off the ship into the midst of this nearly electrified water as you grab a hold of the rail and hold tight.
So, feeling that, Tronus is just going to slightly just brush the hair off his face. It just goes right back because of the wind. And is gonna say something in some strange other language that no one probably knows unless anyone knows Celestial. And says, he wants to play with the wind. Let's show him the sun. And he's just gonna cast Flame Strike right on top of him.
I love it.
5th
Spicy.
level.
Fifth
He needs to make
level.
Dex save.
Yes. All right. What's it? All right. Funny enough, Big Storm's not too dexterous. Let's see here. There we go. But that will be 17.
Fails.
Nice.
So, that because I'm not used to playing a high-level spellcaster.
You really just say that?
Hey man, this is this is the highest level
Kinda.
spellcaster I've played. Mars is
Didn't
the
you have a?
Do you have a wizard
Is he-
that is?
Ignoring
other-
Zane lore.
I've barely played him though. 2 games, I cast 3 spells. So through everything, fire damage wise, well, you see just above the storm, the clouds just part as the full force of the sun just barrels down, and then just flames lick from the radiant light. So you take 13 points of what comes first? Fire damage, plus
Perfect.
16 points of radiant damage. So in total, 29 points.
Love it. Okay. All right. You do this as you channel through your this over the thing you keep close to you in order to remind yourself of your connection to divine power. As we see this, what is maybe a little different about it than what you might see on others? It could be some blemish, or it could be a specific design, or anything, and relate that, if you could, to either to like a early lesson or failure you had in your training.
So, not as much in like training. Tronus, he brushes his hands like on like this straight up just charred armor that he wears, and grasps this amulet around his neck that is just a depiction of a sun. And the words as he says it are a mix of like reverence, but also like, I'm talking to my best friend. And he remembers being an astral elf. The reason he left the astral sea. Yes, Tronus is astral elf. Just floating alone adrift, seeing this sun, feeling that warmth and power, and in that memory, directs that right at whatever this thing is.
Gotcha. I love it. So I love maybe possibly it's just slightly like has a void stuff around it. If you look at maybe embedded into it or something, and It moves out. Very good.
And then Tronus himself, you see a kind of lanky elf. Long blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, very pale pink skin. If anyone was close enough to see his eyes are completely black with just orange irises. And got that charred breastplate armor on above rougher blue clothing and just mangy leather boots.
Perfect. All right. Then what character should we... Well, actually, so I'll say it more this way. At this, they begin screaming as the wind forms within and 7 lightning strikes go out, but there's no sound, as it seems the thunder of it is contained in a ball that they pick up and throw like a boulder straight towards whoever says next.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Dexterity saving throw.
Says the rogue.
Hey.
I'm taking one for the team. Give me 1 second. I gotta make sure I'm on the correct dice.
Won't argue with that at all.
I love it. I love the heroic introduction. That's the way we go, you know?
I got this, guys.
This one. Here we go. So to give some flavor to this before I roll, over the roaring of the winds, you all hear just the sound of a viol just rapidly playing a very rousing song, as Craven is the first to board, but is also part of the ship's entertainment. Though when he plays, you never see any real joy from him. He is just very technically skilled, and it's not something that he does out of a love of the music. It is, for those of you that have traveled long enough with him, you know that it is something that he learned from his grandfather, and so it is a way that he keeps his grandfather around. And as this lightning is starting to come, you see me hold up my bow of my viol, and the lightning will strike at me. Okay, so that's a 12.
Oh, okay.
But evasion.
Yeah, so you're going to take the half of it, which is really good. Yeah, so that's 22. Half to 11, Thunder. So, yeah, you go to do it. You're able to jump as it kind of shocks. Because I feel like you almost do the jump trying to leap over it acrobatically, like your back's right there. However, as you do, they scream and aim it up to catch you and throw you almost on your face as you land on your knees, but not prone, as you feel your bone, just the outer bit of your bone shatter to the force.
You see platinum hair plastered to my skull and down to my shoulders. The dark leathers that I wear are sticking to me uncomfortably as I put my bow back into my viol and hang it on my back, pulling forth a heavy crossbow. And you just hear, "Two can play that game!" And I will steady aim as I sight down my heavy crossbow and take a shot back at this thing. Thank God I have Elven accuracy. For 22.
That'll hit.
So it's gonna be 38 piercing damage.
Very nice. And of course, describe this because this is a vicious crossbow.
Yes. So this crossbow, the first unique thing you see about it is that it has a hook on the bottom that looks very much reinforced across the entire length of it. Those of you, again, that have been traveled with him know that he has an amulet that allows him to bring forth a rope attached to his bolts, and he hooks his bow and uses it to swing across to other ships to gain the high ground on his enemies. All black, though not made of ebony. You see the wood's been charred and then oiled to keep that darkness, because it's uneven purposefully so as to hide better in shadows.
All right. As he does this, this heavy crossbow firing, what's the scene that comes to their mind from their past that has to do with an arrow or a crossbow bolt?
The untimely, well, not untimely, but the death of a friend who was struck as we were running away from a battle that we were losing, and that to this day I still sometimes see out of the corner of my eye.
Love it. Go and do this then. So we've got Kaz and Anansi left, right?
Yeah.
All right. So both of you go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw.
I got a 23.
Okay, perfect. So near you, the winds and clouds that swirl in this space, you see this figure's hands nearly vanish, and their hands made up of these clouds appear near you. The two of you, and they come together for a clap as a thunderous boom radiates out. Each of you succeed, so you are not deafened. However, we're going to go to each of you will get to describe how you withstand it and into what your character's going to do. So whoever would like to go first.
Sure. So actually, probably right before this thing, I take out my smoke pipe, and I yell, like projecting my voice using thaumaturgy if I need to, reminding everyone that they are no use to the ship and myself dead. And by doing so, I use a racial ability of mine called Invoke the Power Within. So everyone 30 feet of me feels their blood begin to boil. You feel invigorated, like a surge of energy, and goes through you, and you feel like that adrenaline can really just make you feel like you do anything. And for a minute, each of you have a +1 to saving throws for a minute.
Okay, very good. So you land and you yell that as the blood moves in. Give me a scene when this was used upon you to combat a foe from another.
Yeah, so recalling the days when I escaped experimentation, I had the help of a scientist there, and the scientist, while running away and still being somewhat young and naive, stayed around unconvinced while they told me to run and get out of here, and that it was my time to make something of myself. I didn't. So I stood there in disbelief, and when it almost seemed too late, while we were being, overran in the room by guards while they're pounding on the door, he throws open a gate there, like a little air duct there to get me out of the building, and he invokes me with the power, and my blood is beginning to boil, and my skin also starts to hurt because it's fresh from the experimentations and things like that. So that's the first time that I realized that I could probably do the same thing.
All right, so we see that blood boiling effect, I think, back in the bloodstream as vessels begin to move faster, and we get like a slight red tinge as blood heats within Kaz. What's Kaz doing as this happens from avoiding this thunderous boom?
So while all this was going on, you see kind of a figure that's standing there with their cloak kind of billowing against them, with the wind being at our backs and all that jazz. Seeing the hands disappear and kind of anticipating what would come next, they swivel around and start running through. Just as that, I could feel that adrenaline pumping and that buff, a slight nod in gratitude. And as the hands kind of close over, they leap up into the air, kind of do a mid-somersault rodeo flip. And as they land, they're actually landing behind the helm to take the wheel. And as they land, the cloak kind of folds around, and they see a very, very slender, very ripped Tabaxi with muted golden hair, with more darker brown with some like auburn outer circle spots. Shoulders torn off with a tunic, leaving just full arms, totally looking hot, and taking out some wrappings from their bag and wrapping themselves to the wheel, to the post of the wheel, so that way they can't get thrown off anywhere, and they kind of hold fast. And every main wave they kind of roll the ship around to kind of take the wave head first, so we don't get lopped over the side.
Amazing. What rank? What office are you for the ship?
I believe the helmsman.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. In that case, go ahead and give me dexterity plus helmsman. Actually, for fun, let's make this acrobatics with helmsman.
Acrobatics. Skills, acrobatics. So I rolled a 27, and then I don't know what else I had.
You would add 3 for your rank.
4.
If you didn't add
if you went full.
I'm pretty sure I went full helmsman, probably.
Full helmsman, so that's 31. The steering here.
Did I do it?
Amazing. A 31. As you grab the helm, you see them move close. As they do, they hold out their hands, and lightning shoots from it, but recoils in upon itself, forming a blade of pure lightning.
This is still affecting that spell, right?
This is still just what they can do, who they are. They come close. With that, I'm going to say they automatically miss the first strike. As
Nice.
They come down, though they will roll for the second one.
Disadvantage because of this cloak.
They're going to try to hit the ship.
Oh.
No, actually, you're on the ship, so I'm going to give them disadvantage since you're doing this. I actually like that
Nice.
very much. I just realized I'm rolling a counter, not a die, so I'm going to change that. I don't know why that's in my dice box. There we go. Stupid Magic the Gathering. All right, here we go. Ooh, that's a 2. So that's a 16 to hit. So that's still, I believe, going to hit our ship. And in that case, we'll do 4 points of damage to it, which would be 40 to a creature, but it's 4 to the ship.
Yeah.
Random question. Feel free to veto. Is this an attack? This was an attack roll, right?
This was an attack.
Could I? Yeah. Could I potentially use my? Or is it outside of 30 feet of Tronus?
What does your ability say? What ability are you trying to do?
Warding Flare when you are attacked by a creature or a creature you can see is attacked by another creature you can see within 30 feet.
This was your ship. It's not a
Yeah,
creature.
it's not a
Gotcha.
creature.
So I think it's outside of that.
Gotcha.
But absolutely. Okay, good. So that is 4 points of damage, which means that we got to do some casualties from the strike. So that's 4 d4s.
Yeah, so Captain, if you want to roll 4d4, any doubles will be an officer.
You're enjoying the system too much, aren't you?
I thought it was on a 4.
Oh, is it on a 4?
hurt.
No,
Doubles are fires. I think
Doubles are
4s are
fires.
officers.
Yeah, there you go. Correct.
Alright. So I've got 2 4s and 2 1s.
Christ.
2 fires and 2 officers. I roll a d6 for the officers. I usually did like 1 captain, 2 first mate, 3 quartermaster.
Or just do it in order on the screen.
Yeah, that's it.
What happens if it's the same number?
That
It
person's
can't be.
probably. Oh.
Okay. So, well, it was originally 2 1s, now it's a 1 and a 2.
Okay, so that means Craven and Trannis, you lose half your HP from the strike. So,
Half your max specifically.
And we got 2 fires.
yes, half your max specifically. Yeah. So this strikes. I'm gonna let you guys narrate this. How does this injure you so gravely as this hits the ship and this lightning obliterates a portion of it?
Would I be able to uncanny dodge part of this, or no?
No, unfortunately not.
Would I be able to? Since they attack, the creature attacked the boat, but then my humanoids, creatures got hit from it. So could I react now to maybe save? Like if I had a spell that's like, if you see a creature take damage.
Yeah, I mean the creature. If the trigger is a creature takes damage, a creature just took damage. So
Perfect.
absolutely.
Then as a reaction, I will grant our captain. No, captain gonna get hit. It was Craven and who else?
Trannis.
Tannis. Okay, I'll grant Tannis. He has resistance to the creature, against the damage. So it's like, so I grant you resistance to that damage that you just got.
Okay. So this is actually your special type. This is resistance to casualty damage for the moment,
Okay.
which was where it be specifically. But very good. So you do that math.
Cool. Love it.
Yeah, so it's
So I
like
guess
20.
basically a quarter of your max
Yeah.
HP.
Right.
So yeah.
Where did he hit exactly? Just to better be able to describe, like, what part of the ship did he damage?
Yeah, I picture this coming across the starboard side from prow to stern, just coming across, slashing.
Okay. So I think it cracked and sent flying pieces of the railing, and it was too many for me to like dodge out of the way. So I got pelted with like large like belaying pins and pieces of the railing.
Same thing. Like when it hits, Tronus pulls the shield up. Doesn't get all of them, so his legs are kind of just cut up. But whatever magic or effect came from Anon just kind of mitigated some of that. So it's all like
Yeah. So I would say Anon's abilities are very biological. So what's the change we see to your skin?
Ooh. I think then it just gets like. It goes from the light pink that it already is down to like a more vermilion red for the moment, then it grows back to the pink.
I gotcha. Almost takes a crystalline appearance as things break in there. I love it. Very good. Perfect. With that, now few people, I believe, have the ability to. Well, actually, I don't know if you have that rank on your ship. Is anyone taking care of the fires by rank?
I don't think anyone's a boatswain.
We don't have a bosun.
I have 1 rank of bosun.
Yeah.
All right. So you can reduce one of the fires immediately down. You. What do you do to put out the fire?
So, as I was previously steering the ship, and then all of a sudden the cat came and just kind of pushed me out of the way. Like,
You're
yes, Kaz, you go ahead, take the wheel. I'll grab this bucket and just as a wave kind of splashes over, he kind of just instinctively holds it up, and now it's full. And then he sees the slash, and there's a fire just like 2 feet away from him. He's like, "Ah, yes, I'll put out this fire," and just dumps the bucket on it, and that's it. So yes, to battle.
So you have 1 fire on your ship, which I don't think is in danger of making your ship explode this turn. Though keep in mind that fires can cause your entire ship to scuttle. And you would take, I think, something like 20 d6 fire damage all around as you're sunking. So it's a bad deal. So we... Yeah, and I think as we're going into this, let's actually shift a little bit. So the last person to go was Kaz?
Yeah.
All right, Kaz, you pick who goes first. Now, who goes next? Everyone to just pick who goes next. And you can pick the enemy to go next as well, if you want to.
Ooh, I want to see what Belden.
They also have some legendary actions in here, but yeah. So Belden. All right, so you're going to pass it to Belden.
So Belden on the opposite side of the mast of the captain, obviously, like you do,
Yes.
when whispered loudly enough.
Well, no, the command was yelled with lots of authority. The whisper was more just
Following.
him thinking out loud to himself.
Right. So let me ask a couple of mechanic questions. Again, like Belden's a transmuter. He specializes in turning things into things, putting himself into other things. He's not an expert at illusion, but he's practiced. We're dealing with what you'd call a creature, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, creature.
All right. Belden is going to, because everyone else seems to be like taking damage, or at least can't say that out loud. Never mind. Taking care of the ship. We'll call it that. Belden leans forward, looks directly into the eyes of this nasty critter, holds up his hand, and conjures an illusion, and casts mental prison to wrap this thing in its own prison of fire and smoke, as if this evil mage now built this entire firewall around him. And if he steps out of the firewall, he's going to hurt himself. If he touches, he's going to hurt himself. He's basically wrapping the creature in a barrel of fire that he cannot escape, pushing inwards towards him constantly to threaten him. Int 18 save.
Okay. All right. Now it rolled an 11, so the visual here is going to be it looks and it begins to cower. And in this moment, we see this creature essentially have a little bit of a flashback here as they think back to looking and seeing slain giants everywhere. What you can see are cannonballs, a mixture of ballista that seems to have downed them. And they are very old. This one remembering. Grayed woman, seemingly fragile, as they begin to mark runes upon themselves. And repeat. Her fires will not defeat me again. I will be the weather. I will be the sea that they find their safety in. I will be the thing that chases them. As she puts herself on a funeral pyre of a large vessel, calls down lightning to strike and burn around her, as she seems to use this ritual to burn herself into a being of pure storm and thunder, vengeance and fury. And as we move back to the scene, we see the images of this reflected in her eyes and burn bright as she burns a legendary resistance.
It was so good. It was so good. All right.
I loved it.
I will scramble across the deck and come up with a new plan.
Got it. All right, you can say who goes next.
That's gonna be Aramin, the Sea Paladin.
All right.
So he's just got his bucket, looking very proud of himself for having put out the fire. Has not noticed the other fire somewhere on deck, or on the ship. And is just gonna look around and feel like he doesn't know what to do. And he's going to use his bonus action to cast Compelled Duel on the creature.
Okay.
Say, as he pulls out his flail and his shield and holds them up proudly and swings the flail around kind of erratically. And yells, "You shall fight me this glorious day, you thing!"
Is that a save?
Yes. Wisdom save.
Okay. Perfect. That is a 15.
That is a failure.
Okay.
So, he is drawn to me. Federation has disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than me, and must make a wisdom saving throw each time it attempts to move to a space more than 30 feet away from me.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, and I'll include the ship in this one because it makes sense.
Yeah. And so now I'll kind of just go to an area that's by myself and just ready my action to swing at it with my flail if it gets within reach. That's all I got.
Yeah.
I got my flail.
Got it. Who's going next?
Let's go with Tranus.
So Tranus running towards like the middle of the ship, seeing Belden Aspel resisted in the most beautiful way possible. To now the captain just stepping away from everyone. Tranus is let's see. He's going to use his bonus action to look at Anon and give him a second level healing word. So that I'm gonna do that again. I rolled double ones, so that's 7 points of healing back to Anon. And then thanks to Spell Driver, that was just my bonus action. Tronus is going to step a little bit closer to the edge, pull his hands apart, and a golden fireball, a 4th level fireball, will fly right at Storm Person.
Amazing.
Just a heads up, that will end my compelled duel,
Oh,
which is fine.
okay. Oh, I didn't know Tronus wasn't paying attention to that.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna just be honest. Airman probably hasn't done the best job of describing his abilities. He's very much over-exaggerated everything, so he's like, yes, no matter what, it will focus on me.
So Aramin is out here doing his best, and we love him.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, fireball.
You got it. Dex save 18.
Failed. DC 19. So that's 6, 12, 18, 22. 22 points of fire damage to Giant Lady.
Perfect.
And
Huh.
with that, he's gonna step ever so closer to Belden, grab onto the mast, like whatever rope or whatever is there, and look to Craven.
You got it. And with this, they make a face, and you see their form suddenly disperses and seems to make the storm grow more fierce, as they no longer can be seen, and a thick fog goes across the deck, heavily obscuring all of it. Raven.
From my position, can I see where the other fire is?
You're heavily obscured, you can't see anything.
I can't see anything. Damn.
Blinded and heavily obscured.
Did I see where the fire was previously?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to move in that direction, and since it's our ship, we know where things are, because we have to deal with fog. So I would like to grab stuff to douse the fire.
Okay. Yeah, I think just to determine how well that works, I'll give you a choice. You can do a wisdom or intelligence check.
Just straight? Or is it like a skill thing that I'm doing?
I mean, if you've got a skill that makes sense here, acrobatics can make sense. You can do wisdom acrobatics or intelligence acrobatics.
Okay. I'm just gonna roll the survival button because that's the
Sure.
state. That's the correct one because
Yeah,
I'm
no, you're
predicting them
good.
both.
Yeah.
So that's a 16.
16. Yeah, I mean, I think that's good. So I think you can, with that movement. So yeah, you can get I would say, yeah, you get there, you can get the fire out. Absolutely. Perfect. So I think that's your action. And then who goes next?
I think Anansi's the last for this round.
I don't think Kez is gone yet.
Yeah, because I don't think.
Oh, Cass has one. But Anansi, go ahead.
As his black and crimson trench coat kind of fluttered in the wind, yeah, he smiles as his lip curls on the side that has a distinctive scar. He knocks his smoking pipe on his repeater and to let those cherries go in the wind, and he takes one deep sniff as the hair on his neck stands. And he wants to discern and smell what he would think maybe is giant celestial blood around him, trying to sense this creature. As long as they have blood, I should be able to smell it.
There's no blood.
Oh shit!
It's an elemental.
All right, and then I'm going to move over then to. Oh, you already does the fire. I'm going to move over to. Actually, then I'm going to see if I can get close up the nest there, and I'm going to make it a little easy on myself by just. I won't even do that. I will. I'll just make my way and dash my way up the nest if I can. The mast.
Okay, yeah, give me. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. It like cut out right when you said something there. Give you a what? Oh.
Yeah, give me acrobatics or athletics with disadvantage for this fog.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Excuse me. Athletics here. Let's do acrobatics there. So that was a 20 and a 7. I rolled a 10 to get a 10 total.
A 10 total. Yeah, I would say with that, you don't fall off necessarily, but you're unable to really get a good grasp. It's wet, and you can't see where ice is formed and ice is not formed. So it just ends up not getting quite up there.
Okay, so maybe like 15 feet then or so?
I would say you just don't really make progress. It's too hard to
Okay.
make progress up there. You spend your movement doing so. Anything else?
No. If then I will actually after that, not being able to see the creature. I won't probably be able to see anyone else then, huh? I guess I'll wait and then hold my action to shoot at the creature if I see it.
Got it. Sounds good. And then, are you letting Kaz go, or?
Yes, Cass can go.
All right. Keeping steady hands on the helm there, as the obscuration kind of goes throughout the ship, is Kaz able to sense anything, any type of way they could perceive there's... did they shrink down? Are they on the ship? Or are they just trying to hide?
Give me a perception check.
All right. That's good. Oh, that's a 9.
A 9. Yeah, you can't tell where it possibly could have been.
And are there still any fires going on?
No.
Huh. Well, then she says, I suppose I'll have to leave this up to the spellcasters. Doesn't look like I'll be having any fun anytime soon. And just kind of holds fast to the helm, making sure to keep us steady.
Yeah.
I don't think she would want to let go of the helm and let it go crazy if we can't see what's going on. She can't detect anything.
Absolutely. So in that case, they're gonna go and let's see here. Aramin, you see off just kind of by you, you see a lightning sword form as it's still going to give you your wish and attack you. At least for the first hit. We'll see how it goes. That will be a 29 to hit.
That will hit, but if I see it now? Because I did hold my action.
So you actually do not see it.
Okay.
You just hear the lightning because it's still heavily obscured.
All right then.
Okay.
29 hits.
That is 40 lightning damage
Ow.
So rockets to your Mani, and it will take its second. For another 29 to hit.
That still hits.
Another 40. So 2 strikes.
That didn't feel good. That did not feel good at all.
Right. Right, now, so spin around, and so you can't choose another person to go until everybody is gone. But since everybody's gone, the enemy may choose itself to go. So they get to do another thing right now. And they're going to go and do at least one attack here against the ship. Yeah, that's going to do it. And that's 4 more points across the ship.
Is that 4 more D4s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got a 2, 2 3s, and 1 4.
Okay, so you got a fire and an officer down.
I thought it was 1s and 4s were those two. What are 2s and 3s?
No, it's doubled, and then a 4 is an officer.
Okay.
Doubles is a fire, and 4s are an officer.
Okay.
Yeah. You got a 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is number 6. So Kaz.
Oh,
Wait.
balls.
All right, that's so half your max.
I mean, honestly, it was preferred you or I think Belden. Or well, I guess, or Anansi. The 3 of you were the preferred ones because otherwise it was going to down anybody else.
Then the next one, they're going to take their second attack, and they're going to go against Belden for that illusion. That's a natural 20.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna work.
I can't see it. I can't warding flare.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that is going to be 71 lightning.
71 lightning. That is fantastic. I should have used this on something else. I'll take it. Boop.
Are you still up?
Still up. Yeah.
Way to go.
Weirdly, the dwarf is healthy.
Sir, where is your absorb elements?
I'm currently burning it on a bonus to con. I will switch it the next time I do transmutation spell for damn sure.
All right. With that, we are going to. So it will choose. Let's choose Belden to go next here. At the same time, I'm going to say the fog here is going to subside, so you can.
Oh,
fully
fuck
see
yeah.
it
I was gonna
once
fix
more.
that.
I mean, I could have fixed it too.
Cool.
And
Cool
now you
with
can
that.
do other
Cool.
things.
Yeah.
But now the guy with fire can see.
So the fog
I
lifts
don't
and we can now
notice
see the
there's
damn
a fire.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm up next.
Um,
Doom, doom.
I was holding my action, so I'll start.
Yeah.
rolling.
So that you held your action to attack when you can see, you can definitely do
Yep.
so.
I know I have some.
Since it was in range to melee me, is it in range for me to melee it?
No, because it has a 15-foot reach.
Okay. That makes sense.
So any of those attacks, let me know.
Oh yeah. Efficiency. Roll 4. Does a 15 hit?
It does.
Oh, sweet. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to do this. Okay. Okay. It's going to be As I shoot, it's kind of covered in like a red mist there, and it will be 8 piercing and then 3 necrotic damage to it. I don't know if that works or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it says if it's not an undead or a construct, I can basically it's going to need to make a DC save. Is that a target or another creature uses an action? Yeah. So right now it's going to take like 1 necrotic damage at the end of its turn for 1 minute, unless it makes a Wisdom save of DC 13 to stop the necrotic from spreading.
Okay, so on its turn it'll do that? Alright.
Yeah.
Anyone else with a held?
I specifically had held a melee weapon attack, so
Yeah.
That's
Alright,
not gonna
so
work.
then Belden, go ahead.
Finally seeing the critter on near the deck. Well, have I got just the thing for you? And I will go ahead and summon Elemental at 5th level. Fire Elemental, who will float over the deck and not be on the deck, lighting the damn thing on fire. Clearly.
Yeah.
And to the Elemental, I'll say, well, do your thing.
Very good. They can go now. That sounds good to me.
Cool, so it gets 2 attacks. Plus 5 to hit. So the first one's going to be 17 to hit.
That hits.
17 to hit, and then it's D10 plus 10. So that's going to be 14 damage fire for the first one.
Nice.
Second attack will be only 13 to hit.
That hits.
Awesome.
It's a big person.
That's 13 additional fire damage. And it moves on my turn, so that's it for it and me. And again, AC 16, hit point 60. Let's see what happens.
Alright, who goes next? Belden.
Let's go with Craven.
Being able to see again, I will, from my position, pull the heavy crossbow out again, steady my aim by flexing my core and bracing my feet, and take a shot. So 24 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
For 38 total damage. That's my turn.
Yeah, who's next?
Let's have the captain go.
Okay. As I'm standing there, very charred and not, kind of just little puff of smoke comes out of his mouth as his hair and goatee are slightly less well groomed at the moment. And then he remembers, wait, I've got these awesome boots, and he flies up to the thing and is going to attack it.
Very nice.
So that is a natural 20 on the first swing.
Nice.
And because it just hit the fuck out of me, let's go ahead just dump a 3rd level Divine Smite into it.
Heck
Let's
yeah.
go.
So that's
So what's
going
your
to be-
smite look like with your oath and everything?
It's despite the fact that it it's not actually. It appears to be lightning
Mhm.
or waves crashing around it. So let's see. It's 2d8 for the first level, and then 2 more. So that's 4. And then I've got. That's all bludgeoning. That is. That's bludgeoning. This is all radiant. Okay, so first I have 16 bludgeoning damage, magical, and then Jesus, that's very nice. Let's see here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 46 radiant.
How do you want to kill it?
So just as I fly up there, I swing the mace around some, as you see a little bit of sparkling energy, and then I just swing it down as I also, you see, as I'm swinging, you see some of the clouds stir around as well, as this green lightning strikes down and just courses through it. At which
Alright.
point he's going to whisper underneath himself, underneath his breath, I can't believe that worked. Ah, yes! I've slain the great beast thing.
So clap.
All right. As the sea begins to grow a bit calmer, the leftover energy still has rough waters, but the gale is gone.
Does it feel natural or unnatural to Belden? Like, does it feel like there's still some arcane influence going on, or is it just like normally petering out?
I would say it still feels like
Bless
an unnatural thing, potentially from what's left over from its influence. So it might take a while for it to go, but it's still this influence upon the sea and the weather.
I'll tell the fire elemental, you there, float over the deck, don't touch the deck, hang out for a minute or two. Thanks.
Okay, and we will get the aftermath after our break here. So let's go. All right, let us do this. Okay, so within this choppy sea, you finally come to at least a somewhat safer place here. Storm still brews slightly, though it does seem safe enough to set sail once more, if you so desire. But this creature has been struck down. It seems their essence floats down to the sea in bright motes of lightning. And as you look over the railing of the ship, you can see that it lights below a deep crevice that seems to be sinking into.
Crevice, like underneath the water, like underwater, like okay. Has it been an hour? Have I dispelled the fire elemental yet? Or are we still watching?
This is all just right after.
Cool. All right, I'll keep the fire elemental floating around. What do you all make of that crevasse down there under the water? That seems a bit unusual. Also, spectral floating storm giant type things are a bit odd where I come from. And yes, I recognize the irony of that.
Being from the mountains, I can't imagine you ever encountering storm giants, so that's fine.
Mother, hill giants or storm giants, if the weather's bad enough, never mind, it's fine. It's it's a long way from here.
You're all a bit strange to me, but that
No
seems
shit.
strange too.
Really? That is... Oh, I've lost count of how many elemental giants I've slain so far. Is he still
Do I
flying
believe
up
him?
there?
I don't know if Tronus believes him or not, if he's fought more than one.
I definitely have doubt.
You guys want an insight check?
That's gonna be a
No,
24.
not really.
You believe me.
I believe him.
28.
Brave, Captain.
Well, the captain says he's done it before. He's done it before.
Right you are, Belden.
Then what do you make of this crevasse?
It's very, very deep. Yes, it's very deep and it's underneath the water. Clearly.
If you want to go down there, I can give you gills. It's entirely your choice.
Ha, Belden, you fool.
Did you
I don't
really
need
just say that to the
gills.
captain?
I don't need gills.
Well, I was talking to everybody, actually.
Oh. I guess. Yes. Very well, Belden, if everyone else wishes to go see it,
But do we
shall
want
go see
to?
it, but perhaps we should take a moment to clean up the deck and perhaps heal some.
You mean fix the
Oh,
damn
yes.
ship?
Yes.
Tyrannus will start casting Prayer of Healing. Take 10 minutes to do that.
You know what? That seems like a wonderful idea, Tyrannus. I think I might do the same because I'm very fucking hurt.
It's Tyrannus. Thank you.
Matt, can you lower the music a tad? It's kind of loud.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do prayer of healing as well.
So from Tyrannus's Prayer of Healing, everyone gets 20 points. Whoever needs it.
And then
Yeah.
another 12 from me.
I am back at full.
I wish I could give it to you guys. I'm full.
Looks
How
like
much
guys
did you
don't
heal?
need me at all.
Aiden, how much did you heal?
I did 20 points.
20. Okay.
Thank you.
So total
Well,
32.
Yeah, I'm back up over half. So
Cleric is back up to full.
I'm two-thirds of the way to full. How bad is the ship? Because I don't think we actually have an officer carpenter. So would we have had to have chosen one out of the unranked crew? Or...
I have 1 point in Carpenter.
Because I was looking at the rules and I didn't quite understand how the damage was supposed to work. Because normally it's ships firing multiple cannons, and so you count the hits, and then for each cannon hit, you get a die. And so the 4s are officers, but then the others are supposed to be like regular crewmen. getting
Unranked
hit.
crew, correct. Those are the
And
other
we only
numbers
have-
that
and
did
we
it.
only have 18. So
Yeah.
I think they're all dead.
Well, they're not
Or
dead.
hurt.
They're like hurt.
why?
Yeah. Well, and remember,
No,
the
'cause
4s
we
don't
had-
count as like full. You know, it's only the officer.
So 5. We lost 5 guys.
You
So I
say,
rolled-
you say lost. They're still bleeding. Let me get to that real quick, actually. As a ship surgeon, I feel
Yeah.
some moral obligation to go patch up some crewmen real quick. Hang on.
Yeah.
'Cause- no, I know the 4s don't count, but there was one that was double 3, so that's 6. And we only have 18 total. And then
Yeah.
double 1.
Oh yeah, you're hurting, and the ship has 8 points of damage on it.
Out of 12. So doesn't that mean we're like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, we have a little ship.
Yeah, you're hurting.
Yes.
I don't even know if we can make enough
Are
repairs.
are
out
they
here.
are the unnamed crew dead, or can I run around and
No.
just
Casualty in this just means that they need to be
Like
healed
they can't
and
fight
brought back
anymore in that
Okay.
battle.
up. So every level of healing brings up a crew member.
Then, since Prayer of Healing can get 6 creatures, whoever like didn't need anything from that, I feel like all of us did. But whoever didn't need any from Tyrannus' Prayer of Healing, that
So
overflow
hold on.
would've-
During the so could our surgeon have mitigated the number of casualties caused by each of the hits?
Yes.
Okay, so
Well, you're the surgeon, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you've got all 4 points in it.
All 4 points in surgeon and
Okay, so we're
Shit,
we're
well-
not quite as bad off as I thought.
so
Right.
each so it's-
Crew wise, at least.
yeah, so he's saving 4 each hit,
Yeah.
and We got
Yeah.
hit twice, so that saves 8.
Because we actually had 4
Well, I
damage
guess-
counters. Or like
Yeah.
8 total, should I say?
So the first hit, the 4s, I had 2 1s and 2 4s. The 2 4s don't count towards it.
Right. So,
So
it's
there's
2.
just the 2.
So
Wait,
that was
So he mitigates that.
he mitigates
Then
that.
the second one was
A 2, 2 3s, and then the 4. So
so
there's
that's 8. So we had 4 that were hurt.
yeah.
yeah. So,
So
you have
we-
4 hurt
Okay.
ones left over.
It's more the ship that's just beat to
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can
Because-
take some time to
Because the
repair
sloop
it.
is small, which means we only have 12 max HP.
Yeah, so when a creature attacks, what happens is their damage is divided by 10, and that's how many hits the ship takes. So because it was dealing 40, it deals 4 each strike.
How is a sloop that is a small ship the slowest of all the ships? It's got high mobility, but it only goes 3 knots.
Bad keel? I don't know. too
Where a
flat.
man of war goes 9 knots, but it's very low mobility.
Yeah. Right, because bigger ships actually, when they get going, have more speed ultimately, and it's more for like catching and chasing. So a big one will travel faster than a smaller ship, but the other ship is quick as it can move. At least in our game mechanics to make things that way, whether that's true or whatever, depending. So
Oh, just for posterity. +7 to medicine, 4 points in ship surgeon, alchemist supplies, brewer supplies, cook's utensils if necessary, including knives and bone saws, and herbalism kit. Belden is running around patching up whoever he can.
okay, yeah, absolutely. So I think taking time here, and you're trying to do the ship a little bit. I think to do ship repair, you actually have to be still, I believe.
I don't know.
Or-
It just says
or not.
at sea. I don't know if it.
So at sea. So yeah. So you spend supplies. I think
Gear.
one
Yeah.
or gear. Yeah.
Are we at a sloop? We're a sloop, right?
Sloop,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, I'll use all 6
What-
gear.
We're assuming we're on the Invisible Stalker, right?
Yeah. I'm using all of our 6 gear to get us where we can. So we're out of gear. It'll be good if we can go to dock sometime. But now we only have 2 against our hit point.
Yeah, so if we didn't have a carpenter, we couldn't make repairs at sea and would have had to dock.
Right.
Correct.
I
The
will
crop
say,
tool allows
I
you
will
to-
say, the couple of us that have the, little bit extra on other things is nice. Because if we didn't have a carpenter at all,
Right.
we wouldn't be able to repair.
Right.
Yeah. That's why it could be advantageous taking on 4 for something good or do it.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So it really depends. But cool. Gives you a little bit of the ship and how that works. At least taking damage. Which was good. So now your ship is only missing 2 of its HP, I believe.
Yep.
You've taken the time. This was a good section of time here. What you would have done here, as now, and pretty much during that time, I would say, just about everything has begun to die down, and all that's so much left is rain. So the winds are gone, and then the last few hours, and there's just this steady rain that comes from the clouds. So what would you like to do?
Well, I don't see much point to canceling the rain, so I guess we're just getting it wet for a minute.
Well, crew, do we want to explore this crevasse, or should we continue on?
Well, we have about 3 more legs of supplies to get us through. I can penny pinch and make sure that we survive a few more days after, but we do need to keep that in mind.
All
Are
right,
we-
Navigator, how many legs are left on our journey before we get there?
How many legs are there left until we get to our final destination? Game Master.
You're still in one leg. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, so you haven't done the legs yet. So you will from here to there is going to be 3 legs of the journey.
So we don't have.
We've barely moved, Captain.
Yeah, out of character.
For our purposes, so I said we're
We don't have extra legs worth of supplies necessarily. Correct?
Correct. We ship
have enough-
so
Yeah,
much.
we have enough to get there, and that's it. So we don't really have a lot of time to be killing to deviate.
right. Just you only really expend it when you go on a leg, though.
Right.
Just to be clear.
Yeah.
It's I don't go like, oh, you spent time here, oh, you ate. It would
Oh, yeah.
still bother with
Okay.
that.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully, when we get to our next destination, if they don't have regular supply place, at least maybe we can steal some supplies and shit. So.
Yes, as we are part of the revelry. Although we're not supposed to do any pirating stuff anymore.
Yeah, the
What-
rules are a little flexible.
When it comes to food, I can, at least once a day, create enough to satisfy us and crew.
Oh yes, I believe I can do that as well. That's
I actually don't need to eat or drink, but that's another thing for another day.
It may have occurred to you that underneath us are a couple thousand fish.
yes, 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 I'm aware.
Where I'm from, you don't eat the fish.
Well, we definitely do.
Why not? That was
Because likely the fish will eat you first.
Yeah, those fish.
All right. I did mark the map on World Anvil to where you are currently.
So that's the flag east of Royal Coast, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Whose cat is dying?
It's not mine.
That's my
Not
mind.
there we go.
Mm-hmm. So we can press on, or we could detour to Rumble Cusp, I guess. What do you guys think?
What was in that cusp of rumble for you?
It's just an island I've heard of.
Well, yes, it's right there on the map. Oh, I see that now.
Jonas, aren't you the navigator? Shouldn't you be studied as to the world you're navigating?
Oh, I am the navigator. I'm still very new to your world. But yes.
He just kind of leans a little bit farther forward than he already was over the map and just starts going like panel by panel, just reading the map. Not in like any way.
Having written a few maps myself, don't ask, it was a side job. I think this guy doesn't quite know what he's looking at.
Your maps are flat. This is weird.
Yeah, generally on projections they are flat. That's how that typically works because there's assumed a curvature of the globe. And, you with me or no?
Oh, sorry. No.
So imagine the map being projected across a round object, right? And it's not exactly round, but it's round for all intents and purposes. Imagine it being a skin drawn across a very large ball.
Yes, a globe. I know what a globe is. Yes.
Right. So we're here. We want to go there,
Yes.
and you're navigating.
Yes, I can navigate. Yes.
So
He pulls out this
you need-
weird set of navigator's tools and just puts them on the table.
How do you
can
get
navigate.
cardinal direction off of that? That looks like an astrolabe. That's usually for stars.
Hmm.
Do you not use the stars?
We do at night, but not during the day typically.
Oh, right. Does anyone have a compass?
Yeah, there's a couple around here.
Okay, thank you.
And then, I guess, learning or acclimating to a compass, how would I like going to Rumblecusp add like another leg to the journey, or is that like still within this current leg?
Yeah, no, it would add another leg, so it would take you another leg to get there.
I
Well, it's
If
up to
we
you.
add-
I will say, like, it is not a. I would say none of you have been to Rumblecusp, so while it's on the map, you don't have any port information. So I would say you have no information that there is a port there.
If we add a leg to the journey and aren't able to get more ship supplies, we will not have enough to get to Erexel because
Yeah.
it takes your ship's speed, which for us is 3 per leg of grub, and we only have 10.
And I can always, as you know, up to my level in quartermaster, ignore supplies for
Okay.
a leg.
Because I'm just putting all the like relevant tables into just a ship's rules for us, so we can try and find it a little bit more easily
For sure.
while we get used to this stuff.
It's okay. I still have to look back, and I've been playing it for like hella months.
All right. So what is the plan here? Are you investigating where you are? Are you going to keep on sailing to Erexel, or are you going to Rumblecusp?
I see no need for us to go to Rumblecusp. It's more just if anybody wishes to satiate the curiosity and explore this crevasse.
And do you have to say it like that?
That's how it's pronounced.
Well,
That's how you
scholars
pronounce
actually
it.
No,
differ on
no.
that point.
No,
So
it
regionally
is-
speaking,
it is a-
there are
it
at
is-
least 2 ways to say it.
You're not helping.
At least, yes.
Belden. Thank you.
Yes.
So, to the crevasse or to the ladies' island?
Ugh.
It would
I
be
think-
good to add an actual true story to the captain's tales.
Hey, your insight can't be good enough to
I-
have
Hey,
detected it.
I don't have to roll insight. I can choose how much of your stories I believe.
I looking at it like
And I think some of them are true, but some of them are heavily inflated.
to be fair, he did.
Well, to the extent you,
Has killed at least one.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't call him on this one. He's killed at least the one because I watched him do it.
I've killed several.
I could have
Sounds
sworn
like
someone
the-
said.
Go ahead, Kaz.
Sorry, I could have sworn someone was telling me there was like a resort on Rumblecusp, but I couldn't really believe that.
Oh, what?
Depends. Who was
like
your
a-
source?
Tiki bar? I don't remember.
Honestly, I don't.
I know
mind
th-
when
I know
you
there
go
is-
to
there
the
is-
course now.
I know there was quite a famous resort back on my home continent of Marquette, but I don't think that's would be on our way. Might add a few legs to our
Oh.
journey.
You're Marquesian. That explains a lot. Thank you.
Tronus leans to Craven and just whispers, "What is a resort?"
A tavern, a fancy or inn, really, a fancy inn where they likely have other activities for their guests to participate, other than just a bar to drink at.
Okay. He leans away and then leans back, like
3 seconds later, what's an inn?
Well, son, have you been to a port before?
Pardon?
Where did
Have
we
you been
find
to a port
you?
before?
From
If I
stories you've heard
recall,
about Tronus,
if I
Tronus just
recall, he
appeared on
kind of
Dark-
just fell from the sky.
Tronus just like appeared on Darktoe one day.
Yep,
He
he
didn't
fell
come on
from the
any ship.
sky.
He just rose like the sun. He just
Yeah,
arrived.
much like the doorman, he just fell from the sky one day.
Yeah.
I mean, we have.
It is not that uncommon of a thing to have happened to just have people fall from the sky. Come on, Craven.
In this campaign, at least 3 times.
And I'm 2.
I'm at least 1.
He's the other one.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh no, 4. Simon.
Mm.
Well-
Found in a floating bubble.
well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he kind of just appeared out of nowhere when he was changed.
Great roll.
Uh,
So it sounds like we're not that interested in the crevasse. We're mostly headed towards Urox. Hang on, what does this map say? It's
Wait a second. Wasn't-
Kaisel?
Urukaxel.
That's
Yeah, whatever it
consonants
is.
in a
It's
way I
not
might
my
use.
dialect.
Well, you really must be more familiar if you're going to be traveling the world with various dialects.
I mean, I've traveled quite a bit, but everybody pronounces it differently, so it's hard to actually say.
Oh yes, I know of other dialects too.
And he starts saying random sentences in Celestial and Primordial and Elvish.
Ah, Elvish.
Those aren't real languages.
One of them is.
To the Ladies' Island.
Tronus is not questioning everything he knows. Just based on those aren't real languages.
You know you're confusing the poor kid, right?
I'm educating him.
That's not the word I would use.
You're right. I'm informing him of new information.
Speaking of informing, Captain, orders?
Unless anybody really wants to inspect this crevasse, I believe we should head straight for the Ladies' Island.
Sounds
Oh.
brilliant. I'm gonna go below decks and make
Coxel.
lunch.
Just anywhere that we can get quickly. I'm getting hungry.
I'm literally
I
about
thought
to
you
cook.
didn't have to eat.
Well, you don't know that.
You just
You
said that you
actually
didn't
said
have
that.
to eat.
I know. I'm
Or
telling
drink.
those telling you guys above table. I was not saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I too could go for a feast and perhaps some fine wine.
How do you feel about salted herring and hardtack? That's what we got.
Finding.
Is there any way you could perhaps poach the herring?
I could if I. Yeah, I guess if I put the extra.
Perhaps
oil in.
with some, and serve it with some fresh vegetables, steamed
Well,
with some
fresh.
parsley and rosemary.
Our supplies are short, but I could try. Do you want to waste them now or later?
Captain, your voice is changing.
No, it's
Your
not.
accent is changing.
I'm using different dialects.
It's like that Warhammer game where the guy starts talking in accents randomly.
So Belden goes below deck to cook lunch.
Wait, you're the cook and the surgeon?
Correct.
Am I the only one that only took my main thing?
No, I
No.
named a navigator.
And
No,
I
half
think
of us
Elvis-
half of us took a 1 level dip in something, and the other half of you did straight up the one thing.
Yeah,
I
until we
didn't
get
understand
like
the rules. I thought it
more-
was like take your
until we
thing
get,
and stick
more
to it.
named crew.
No, you can. You've got essentially enough ranks equal to your proficiency bonus. Was how I
Yeah.
read it, and you can divide them up however you want.
And then the captain, once you complete journey, the captain can give someone a promotion.
Yes. So don't disappoint me, crew. As he puts his he puts his hands on his hips and tries to look authoritative and in charge.
He leans to
My
Craven
main-
again and just like, why is he standing on a bucket?
Correct. I actually have the bucket flipped over from earlier, and I've just got the one leg up on there. Very much Captain Morganing it. Just
The hardest
you-
thing
are
for
you
me
a
this
short
journey.
man?
no, he's average height. to slightly above average. He's like 5'11" or so.
Okay.
So he's not short. He's just, he's just him.
Not tall.
I mean, he's not like a giant tall. He's taller than the dwarf.
Hmm.
I'm a solid 5'11".
Yeah, and so he's as tall as Craven.
On the bucket?
Well, I've only got the one leg on the bucket.
Okay.
I'm Captain
only
Morgan.
got one bucket.
Man. Yeah,
We can't hear you.
which
Matt.
which I bravely used to douse all of the fire on this ship during that combat.
Yeah, no, I
I'll
didn't put
have
any
you know.
out. It.
All right,
Yes,
so we're
there's-
making our way towards Urakaisel.
Okay, so yes.
Or
Or as Airman says,
Urukazel. I found it.
Urcoxel.
I found it on Critical Role when Matt finally said it.
Urakaisel. All
Airman's
right.
gonna continue to pronounce it Urcoxel.
Urakaisel. Perfect. All right, then I need a navigation check.
Cool. Is that intelligence or wisdom? Because wisdom's higher.
It'll be intelligence for you.
Funny. So then for 10 plus 5. That is gonna be Jesus, I cannot 22.
Okay, very good. Then the first leg of this journey goes very well. You make good time. Give me your second one.
24.
Very good.
Yeah.
He's really taking to these new flat maps quite well.
At some points, you see him holding it upside down, and then looks at the sky and just starts talking in Celestial, and then nods in like recognition that he is holding the map upside down and backwards, and then starts plotting the course better.
Recognition.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I taught him that trick.
Gods help us at some point. This will go upside down.
Okay. So in that case. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so as you move here, you see in the second leg, and of course you're marking your supplies correctly. You find yourself coming into your view is what seems to be a floating structure. There's this tall tower that comes off of what almost looks like mostly salvaged wood, and it all floats upon the water itself. From here, you don't see anyone moving upon it, but you do see what seems to be almost like a large line of gray that is within. As you move, you see surrounding it for roughly 5 miles, you think, looks almost like decaying organs.
That's not disgusting.
So 5 miles of decaying organs floating on the sea.
How close are we?
I would say about 10 miles away.
Well, that is a visage most foul. What even would have built a structure such as that?
You presume it's built. Is it built?
It is built.
What kind of organs?
From here, you can't really tell. You can see it's biological matter.
Well, obviously, we shouldn't approach it, right?
I think one of you priestly types might have an opinion about why the hell it's here, perhaps. Maybe the Sea Paladin might have opinions about this. Cap?
Clearly it's just horrible. It's the smell is absolutely terrible.
But why is it here? What does your god say about this thing? I mean, I've read a little bit of the old text, but nothing about this. Like, of all the various religious texts I've come across, not a single thing about floating sea organs.
I'll be honest, I don't recall them in my readings either.
Being honest, yes.
I mean, my deity believes more in just freedom, and that's what I believe as well. So I want everybody else to feel free to voice their opinion on this matter. What
Captain,
your beliefs or thoughts on this particular situation?
Captain, what creatures are large enough that we'd be able to see their organs from this distance? You're of the sea.
Yes.
Whales, maybe?
Whales are one. Dragons, probably. Giants.
Dragons down here. Fun.
Elemental giants. Big enough fish, maybe, like the ones that Tranus there says would eat them before you could eat them. I mean, nothing that you should fear so long as I'm around.
Technically, those fish don't have organs. The
Well,
ones
I
that
mean,
was talking
perhaps
about.
the ones where you're from, but here, all of the fish do have organs of some sort.
Oh, fun.
Tronus is gonna step to the bow of the ship and look directly into the sun and try to divine intervention knowledge on what this is. To get that one stay until I succeed. Oh, that was another D10. Holy hell! Yeah.
Did you actually get it?
I rolled a 6. I'm not touching my dice. I can't use my camera because it's kind of funky right now.
Holy shit.
Day one
put-
is a cleric. Shit, I gotta put this in. Hold on. Camera. There it is. There's it.
You just went for it and delivered.
Yeah.
Hey, man, full set.
Okay.
If
And what's
you're
your
gonna
deity
spend it-
again?
Full set.
Technically not really. It's just the son of Exandria.
Okay.
Not the first.
Celestion is, I think the name I chose was.
Suntree.
Yeah, Celestion.
All right.
Stars and Wanderers.
Very good. In that case, yeah, you kind of attune to everything the sun would see, and it's time here. And You here begin to see that not overly long ago, this was what almost looks like a floating base of really neural brain matter that spread out for many, many miles. You learn that it was destroyed and it's centered around a large rip in reality. And you can see other planes of silver throughout it. See that it was sealed with an artifact and simply left this gray streak that this now floating base is around. All around you see that this matter has been dead and has slowly been decaying within the sea, what once was this biological base. But now in the center is a thing that has been constructed. The ones who seem to have constructed of it, I would say with this knowledge, you immediately get that this is called Luxon's Breach. And that there's essentially two groups of people who have worked together, if somewhat competitively, to do it, and that is a group of druids, specifically of the Ashari, and a essentially research group of artificers that hail from Teldore.
So Tronus just turns back around to the group and drops that word vomit on everyone, almost like verbatim. His eyes are just completely black. Like as he talks, like his like faint yellow irises just like light back up. And
it's called Luxon's Breach, and it was built by a group called Ashari and a group of what's the common word? Artificers from a place called Teldore. All that organic matter is dead. It's decaying into the sea. But that gray silver line there, it was created when some people, I don't know who, closed a portal, sealing a rift to somewhere, and it just formed.
Sealing the rift left all this organic matter.
Yes, originally the base was organic, but that over there is man-made construction.
I just don't understand why sealing the rift would have caused so many things to die.
Also, can you be sure it's actually man-made, or could it be somebody else?
Yeah, perhaps it's elf-made or dwarf-made.
Not out here, no.
Prime material
I've-
made. That's more an apt description from me.
By prime material, I mean the plane we're currently on, right? As opposed to some other celestial
Like the
body.
astral sea, yes, correct.
Yes, yeah, obviously.
So colloquial.
Yes.
So, do we approach it or no?
You weren't interested in Rumblecus, but you go here.
I mean, presumably
Well,
I mean,
we
this
have
is
to
right
pass by-
here. The Rumblecusp would have been a more significant detour.
We could steer through it or around if you want to keep picking bits of organs off the prow, if you like. It's entirely up to you. I can't cook them necessarily, but we can probably push through them.
Why would we go through that mess if we
Do you
don't
want to
have
go around?
I
And
have a
there's-
feeling we'll have to go through to get to where we're going.
Well, it's only like 5 miles wide by the looks of it, so we probably could go around. The sea is not infinite, but it's finite and wide. It's possible we can go around.
You can certainly avoid it if you wanted.
Airman's just doing this because he doesn't want the ship to get dirty. That's it.
Dirty or dead?
Dirty. He's immediately after the last battle, he fixed his hair and cleaned himself up again. He's a bit self-conscious about at least presenting that he's very well kept, and he's.
I can now see why I'm on the other side of the boat. Got it.
Hey, somebody's got to bring the average down here, okay?
Oh, and I do.
Everybody else is described as actually relatively attractive here, okay? You got to bring the curve down. We thank you for your sacrifice.
Your sacrifice, he says. Jesus.
Belden's been given the Medal of Honor.
So what would you like to do?
I don't understand why we have to go here, but if you guys feel like we must.
Well, it's going to add.
Where's your
time
adventuring
somehow.
spirit, Anansi?
I'm hungry.
I just fed you like not even 2 hours
Yes,
ago. Come on.
yes.
It tasted good. I appreciate it.
I mean, there's plenty of floating viscera if you're just hungry.
Well, there's more of that very stiff bread stuff.
That's a concept more foul than you. Look, please don't ever say anything like that again.
Oh, I'm just getting started. We should talk about old and ugly jokes. I have a pile of them. I've had them all thrown at me.
I'm sure you could write a book.
I have.
about it.
You've written a book? That's wonderful, Belden. I really must make sure that it gets added to the ship's library.
Oh, it will be. Yes, for sure.
We don't have enough books to field those many jokes.
Some of you. Anyways, how do we feel about this floating the construction and the guts around it?
Disgusted, obviously.
Right. So we just skip and go around. That seems rational.
That's
If you'd
what
like, I can explore it for you and just tell you what's there.
I'd like to hear about it, at least. I mean, if
How about this? How about a vote?
You're a captain, right?
Obviously, I'm the great Captain Aramin Costavo.
Then continue.
As captain, I'm saying I wish to hear the opinions of my officers.
Well, then I'm out.
also out. And maybe we can go back after the island, but as you said so yourself, Captain, that was our plan, going to the island after all.
Craven, Tranus,
Mispronouncing the A in the name
You
again.
yes, you've switched it. It's Craven and Tranus.
Yes.
I've heard it both ways.
On brand, but okay.
Kaz is going to be Kaz the whole time.
K's.
Please.
Don't you dare.
Zach.
Airman.
I'm for exploring this place, especially after Tranus' deity was so kind as to inform us as to its nature.
I'm of the belief that we will have to pass through to get to the island faster. I guess that's where my vote lies.
If I get covered in any type of liquid that I do not approve of, I'm slapping all of you.
Well, are you voting for us to explore the island or not?
I don't want to kill the spirit of curiosity, but I'm not happy about it.
So it sounds like he's out.
So that is a no.
Well, Captain, if you vote on your side, that would be the first mate and the captain for exploring. So We'll just have to go.
Well, if one of you had held out from the vote, then I would have cast the tiebreaker. But I will listen to the 5 of you here, and
The
it is
5?
3. It is. Well, you said no for exploring, or did you take?
I said I'm not an officer of the ship. I'm actually just the surgeon. I'm not in command of the ship. I can't.
You are
can't
one of the
issue
officers. You are in charge of our medical pay.
Yeah, I think all those name spots are officers.
Yes.
Well, in that case, my answer is no.
Okay. So we have got 3 for not exploring and 2 for exploring. So that means that we will just be going around it then, and continue on to our goal.
Would you mind just pausing for a hot minute? I have some charcoal here. Hang on. And Belden will actually look at the current maps we have and the current position, and using his cartographer's tools, start sketching out like relative direction from where we went to where we are, where this whole thing is. Not assuming that it won't float, but like basically drawing a map back to this place if we want to come back, and like in front of everybody, just very clearly, like almost half from memory and half from construction, just like sketching in exactly where it is, and then cross points and references and stars and the whole nine. Like create a complete like cartographer's map in about 5 minutes or so on charcoal of where this thing is, and then roll it up and put it away.
Very good. In that case, give me another navigation check.
That's going to be an 18.
Very good. Then all right, so do another leg here. Soon you realize you're coming upon the place that you would known as Urkazel. You had heard it described once, whereas a city you could see towering woods that served as quite a maze for the crew of the Kestrel or the Wild Bloom in its many adventures. Now approaching, you see what appears to be large stone walls. A fortress that has been built up, rising above the island. Oh, from the island, it's not floating, but upon the island up. Around the stone structure of this keep, a very large keep, it seems as though there are small towers, each with a violet crystal that seems to hover above. Below there is structures, metal type of work there. Occasionally you can see a arc of energy go from one crystal to the other. As you continue to approach, you can see what seems to be a place for ships to dock. Though the ones here are fairly large, all galleons. And you can see that tied down to a portion of it is a ship that floats in midair. What would you like to do?
I didn't know your ships could fly here too, or didn't need to be on water.
It's uncommon, but it does happen, especially at Marquette. There are definitely places that are hoarding the technologies, but they do float in the not the same thing, but similar.
Right.
Someone refresh my memory. Why were we coming here again?
Well, the original ask was that we check this place out because the druids we thought were concerned with Verithia, and I forget the name of the other guy. It was
Halamundel.
Yeah, Halamundel. Were suspected to be around here, and when the lady, as was described to me, her place was taken, the belief was that the druids had either freed them or somehow subjugated the population. But it looks like an active trading port to me, and I don't think evil druids with evil machinations against, I don't know, every coastal city we've seen, plus Darktoe, would necessarily need a lot of galleons to trade with, but I could be wrong.
Those attacks were made by magic, so having
Right.
the people aboard or on land seems to be the story that we've had so far.
Right, so if you had a couple of galleons, and again, a galleon typically seats, I don't know, 300 to 500 people. That'd be like an invasion force, probably. Why would you need that here if you're just trying to destroy the world and return things back to nature? Why? Did you guys get the mission brief too, or was it just me?
I did, and I thoroughly read it, but I think you've done a great job of breaking it down so far for
You
everybody.
say Reddit. Never mind.
I did. I read it cover to cover several times.
So I feel like our first question should be, are these the druids we're looking for? I misspoke. My ship sizes are incorrect.
Yeah, but it's all good.
I think I'm throwing back to the northern island with the fire standoff. Yeah, and the dragon problem. Yeah.
I mean, if they're like halflings or something, you could
It's
double
not like
that,
it's not like
right?
exchange ratio. You don't get 2-to-1 number of crew members based on the size of a book. It's not how that works.
That's how Airman thinks it works.
All right.
Armin. I'm not even sure how to pronounce his name.
Do we
You
plan,
got-
Raymond.
do we plan on going through one of these walls?
Perhaps we should, at least for the moment, try not to get spotted, though. Those are very big ships.
Doesn't this beast have some kind of invisibility, something or other? I read something saying that this particular ship had some reasonable precautions.
Yeah, I forgot all the different upgrades that we have.
Yeah, I
It's in your
can't
Discord.
quote the whole ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
+2. This came out kind of
It's kind of weird, but
like wonky.
Yeah.
I gave you the pictures of it too. Of the
Oh,
cards.
okay.
Yeah, so gains +2 to stealth. And then kitchen requires no heat to cook.
Lucky me.
I don't think it says anything but like just straight invisibility.
I still find it hard to believe that the lady was actually taken down. I mean, we haven't even seen proof
Oh,
yet.
invisible. +2. Stalker, main stealth.
Yeah, the ship is called the Invisible Stalker. It has the +2
Okay.
to stealth.
Okay. Arcane cannon in front.
Pros just gives +2 on navigation. Cool. I forgot about that.
So technically, the ship isn't invisible. It's just a little bit harder to spot, right? Or is it?
Maybe.
Yeah,
just-
I would-
I'm asking because it's not as big as those ships over there. Like, I'm not really a ship envy kind of a guy, but they're pretty big and we're not so big. So a little concerned here.
Those are larger ships, yes.
Don't feel bad yet. It's not the size of the ship, it's the motion of the ocean. I've been told before.
It's more how you use it.
Right.
Not gonna lie, the reading of the. Oh, there we go.
Does anybody have an easy way to monitor what's going on at the other side of those walls?
I could reconnoiter, I suppose. Is that too big of a word?
No, you're good with. Oh, Matt, yeah, we can't hear you.
Yeah, so if you wanted to try to approach from another side or whatever, that would your stealth would come into play if you wanted. Just depends on what you want to do right now.
Is there any obvious magical gates, wards, anything I could see from this distance? I think it's quite some ways from the docks, but like, are there anything obvious standing out for Arcana?
I would say looking here, definitely the towers that seem to be on the island seem to have some type of function. But you don't think it has to do with going out into the sea. It's more if people were there.
Okay.
Next, I say make an Arcana check.
You got it. Doom, 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 doom. Oh, fuck yeah. Nat 20 for 29.
Nice. Okay, look at this. You feel like the crystals here seem to be for the purpose of illusion and projects illusion around the island. That's where all the arcane used to be, even major illusion, all these things. However, they seem to be inoperable. Something is preventing them from doing the full illusion.
So partial or just not working at all?
It's one of those, like, if one isn't working, the whole illusion's down.
Okay.
It's a holistic thing because it's doing so many angles at once. So perhaps they're doing maintenance on it. You can't see from here, but it's definitely not operational. On a normal day, you'd assume that everyone would just see an island here.
Mm-hmm. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, captains included, the news is pretty much good for the most part. Those towers do have functions. The crystals are largely designed for illusion to protect the island, make it look like a normal island without being interesting. Also, they're currently inoperative, which is to say, one of them must be down, so the rest are down. I guess my question for you all is, well, first off, we're seeing the real island probably, most likely, unless they have a second layer of illusion, which would be just crazy talk. But I could probably go poke around and see what's actually happening there if you're interested, and I probably won't be seen.
How are you doing that?
I'm going to become a bird. A small bird, probably a swift or a sparrow.
Seems safe enough to me.
For me, it is. I've lived actual seasons as a bird. Weird mating habits, but like they're pretty cool all in all.
So you said mating habits. Does that mean you mated?
I've spent seasons as a wolf, deer, bird. Never mind. It's not important. The ecology out in the woods is very interesting to me and curious. Yeah, I've spent some time in other species. Okay.
Can you procreate like that?
I have never counted my eggs. You can imagine someone who looks like me is very interested in feeling what it's like to be someone else from time to time. Is that fair? I just
That's
don't
not even where I was
specify
going with that.
No, I'm just to be perfectly clear. Like, there's a lot of experimentation, some of which was quite nice, some of it not much at all. Spiders,
It's just-
especially. Ugh.
But why would you want to be something else?
You're joking, right?
What is there to joke about?
Never mind. You're not from this place. I understand. So, a swallow, perhaps. Maybe a nightingale. I don't know. I'm going to take a little bit of time, not very much. Perhaps maybe an hour at most, and go peck around the outside of this place and take a look. And I'll be back very shortly. Is that not reasonable? Sounds like a yes.
Yes.
I'm going.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
just
Go ahead.
here.
Okay. Well, thanks for your permission? Question mark. And Belden, in a very practiced and rehearsed sort of a way, does his natural once a day polymorph, and just becomes a small bird, right there in front of you. Shrinks down to a tiny little spot on the railing. Gives a little bit of a nod, and flies off.
Okay.
That's the at-use polymorph for transmuters, by the way.
Perfect.
So it doesn't cost me a spell slot. It is a once-a-day thing.
As he flies off, like he's gonna die, isn't he?
Not the first time.
Okay, so you fly forward. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the towers themselves first from the outside, not crossing into their lines, but like trying to understand the towers, the distance spacing between them. Like they seem like they're set up to maintain the illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other obvious functions? Are they just there for the crystal there for the illusions to make sure there's far enough apart to keep the illusion up, or are they defensive? Do they have weapons on them like arquebus or ballista?
Now that you get nice and close, they do have has the illusion. I meant to do the illusion. You also think all the operations of them for now seem to not be functional.
Mm-hmm.
But when functional, you think also crossing the line would put essentially fairy fire
Mm-hmm.
upon any
To light
creature
you up.
going through. Yes.
Yep.
And now at this kind of point, you do see that there are stations that are a little lower, more like huts, cabins, where it seems like there would be guard. Well, you can see there's a guard or two stationed. Though not at every one, it seems like it's a little bit of rotational. For the most part, like they don't have enough staff.
All right, so they're covering by rotation because they should be manned for more than they have currently.
Yeah.
What do the guards look like? Race, species, weapons, armor, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. I would say you probably get 2 guards here that aren't together. They're just part of this like one guard rotation. One bears a sword that seems to have a kind of unique pattern to it, though you can't get a really good look at it, but it shines in where it is. They do seem to be of elven heritage. Another here is tiefling, and they seem to carry a heavy crossbow that, instead of bowstring, has 5 purple crystals on it that seem to glow as well.
Is it obvious what the crystals do, or what this magical device is supposed to be for?
You assume it would fire some type of arcane bolt.
Okay. But just 2 for this particular tower or stretch of the wall?
Yeah, though you can see further, because these are out from the wall, that there are crews where you think the remaining guards must be. You can see a few more people walking around on the other side of the island, where there are 3 towers that seem to be having people on them like they're working on them.
Like repairs?
Yeah. And even from here, you can see that 2 of them, of the crystals, are cracked and not floating.
So this fight happened relatively recently.
Seems to be.
All right, let me zip to a second tower on the outside before I pierce the barrier, and see if the scene looks similar for the second one. Like, same weapon, same armament, same idea.
Mhm. Should go to the second one. Hear a voice in your head. Who exactly are you? You're not of us, and I can tell you're not of them.
I'm going to assume it's something like a message and reply with, "Which them did you mean?"
The League.
If you're concerned with the League, we may be on the same side.
They double-crossed us. Double-crossed me.
Which me, without prying too much, I'll say differently. If you're against the League, who are you for?
For our group, we made a deal with them, and they took over this island from us.
So these are the battlements, not yours.
No. Though we damaged them.
Where would we find you if we wanted to parlay? I am but a sparrow. I can show up to speak in person, but I am very small.
Things. Then fly as a red bird on the east side of the island. You do so, we can speak. I assume there are others with you.
Of course. Is the east side approachable by ship?
Their attention is not fixed upon it. Might be a bit of a climb.
Not unreasonable. How do I call you?
She pauses for a moment. You may know me as Verithia.
Verithia. What reason would the League have to take your island from you?
It has an arcane resource at its core that they thought was useful. And The people who live here are exceptional. We had aided in a liberation, and they undid it.
Who were you liberating?
There were people who had been collected for their lineages from the island's previous mistress. She, I won't say sadly, passed away. We came to undo what she did and honestly sway them to our reasoning, but they were free to leave.
I see. Are you well supplied? Can you hold out a day or so until I confer with my ilk?
We can do what we can. We expect the repairs to the barrier to take 3 days.
The barriers, you mean what keeps them from you?
Yes, their wall. We are currently working on finding a way through the stone wall that they've created.
Okay. I will confer with my ilk, and I will show to you as a red bird within the next day to talk on your west side.
Good. I will have my voice, or have one of my voices there.
I look forward to meeting you.
We shall see.
And I will immediately turn back and fly, not towards the ship, but just out to sea for a while,
Sure.
then just meander back.
You got it.
Because she's probably watching. All right. Within an hour of departure, I will return back to the ship, land on a railing, flick some water off my wings, and then sort of transmogrify back into a dwarf sitting on the railing, kicking his feet around like, here I am.
Well, what did you discover?
Well, it's interesting, and I'll recount the entire tale to all of them, almost word for word verbatim, our exchange between me and Verithia, assuming this is Verithia, forward and back to make sure they understand the tone, the discussion, the specific words used, like very, very precise description of everything Verithia said.
Can we truly have been this fortunate to have found our target already?
Well, it's not the entire problem. I think it's a piece of the problem. One of which is we have two sides of this fight that we disagree with both of them, really. And we don't necessarily have to act, but they're definitely going to go back at it pretty soon. Do we have a dog?
Two sides.
Well, the League, as I understand it, is not exactly in a good place. Well, let me back out the moralisms. They're taking full advantage of all of the destruction that Verithia and Co. caused. Verithia and Co. caused the destruction, but they're also trying to free the at least natives of this silly, sad island. You can pick a moral stance.
If I'm wrong, but were we not sent here to find Verithia and hers for their attack on Darktoe and the other places around the world?
Right, so you've got the ones that cause the chaos, the ones harvesting the chaos. Who's the bad guy right now? Like, who's the bad guy?
Well, they both are, but even I know the expression, the enemy of the enemy is the friend.
But we don't have any friends here.
Yeah. I feel as if this Miracle League is more an enemy than these druid type people.
how do you weigh the danger? Obviously, the druids struck first. Obviously. They intended to break down the entirety of society to basically, I don't know, bear skins and campfires, which wouldn't be good for any of us. And then the League, representing maybe aggressive civilization, comes in, takes advantage of the chaos, and harvests the whole thing for their own benefit, right? So they both suck. I agree on those points for damn sure, Craven. But how do you pick a side? Do we pick a side? Do we not pick a side?
Our job was just to
Find her.
find them.
And we have. That much is easy.
But
I mean, if you want to be by the book, I can just open up a portal right now and go back to Darktow and explain the whole thing. You can come with if you want.
But they also said that it feels as if they are trapped here too.
They are
If
for
we're
now,
trying
until
to
they break the
find a
border.
way to break through a wall.
Hmm?
Then, if the druids are trapped here, that means the League is a bigger threat.
That means the
They're a
League is
bigger
currently
enemy.
winning. Do you want to go parlay with the League and see what they think?
Well, the League is also in some sort of, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Pissing contest. That's the closest thing Aiden can think of.
Yeah, but
With
someone
other-
dies here.
with
if
Ashari at Luxon's Breach. Right over there. With the building of their floating base.
So as I understand it, the Luxon's Bridge situation was some druids from the Ashari, which I guess is way up north somewhere, and then artificers from Taldore. Do we have a dog in that fight?
Who's
I
the
don't-
League again?
The League, as far as the reports have come back from various Whiskers, and Whiskers being a little dodgy sometimes, the League's a bunch of guys who, when calamity happens, come in, buy up the property, supply the resources to rebuild, and then take over and maybe even own the entirety of all commercial property, or at the very least the most critical parts of a government. Imagine you've seen a leech before, right? Or a fluke, very similar.
I've thankfully not seen my home plane's equivalent of that. Or else I would
Okay,
not be here.
you're from an ocean plane, right? No, you're from the astral. Never mind. Do you know what lamprey is? A fish that eats other fish's blood to survive.
Oh. Okay.
Well, imagine one whose goal is not just to survive, but to take over and rule the whole thing. The League, from what I've read, is very much the leech on society that takes advantage of calamity in order to now control that society.
Yes, and what are these artificers at Luxon's Breach doing? They're in
No idea.
some
None.
sort of...
Belda,
they're
I
in
think
some
you're
sort of
failing to remember the library of artifice we have back home. Of course, we
Right.
have a dog in that fight.
I mean, artificers aren't inherently good or evil. It's just a skill, right?
Yes, and bringing them back home to Darktow would increase the power of Darktow.
If they want to be there. They could also burn the place down.
They could also be the same... I don't know what a Taldore is, but...
It's a continent.
It's over there.
Oh, okay. Still not sure, but okay.
It was on the map that you've been looking at for several days now.
Okay.
It's the
Still not
spelling,
sure, but
probably.
okay. But what you were describing the League as, then that kind of rings true to what I learned from Celestian about what's happening at Luxon's Breach, about the people who are occupying it in their floating base. Crafters who are constructing something at what feels like a great spot of turmoil and tragedy, and are trying to take it over.
Trennis, let me just ask you this: are you opposed to power, power on too few hands, or something else? What is it that you're afraid of?
Oh, I'm not afraid of much.
As expected of a member of my crew, we should not be scared of anything.
What's your name again? Oh, right. No, in this, I'm not scared of much. It's. In terms of power, I guess I'm more cautious of it going into the wrong hands.
I think
Wrong
that's
people in power.
the crux of our issue, right? So it appears that the League may be the wrong kind of people, and it's pretty obvious the Druids are the wrong kind of people too.
If they attacked, then yes, as well.
Well, they destroyed 7, 8, 9 different cities at the same time. That
And they're
seems
also
pretty
dangerous,
egregious.
So then why are we not just putting them down?
We can. That's an option. I didn't. There were no promises made. I was a bird.
Because it seems like securing this island for Darktoe would be highly beneficial, especially seeing as the attackers of Darktoe are on it.
Right. So, do you want to fight the League or the Druids or both?
Yes.
Out of character, do we have a way of contacting Darktoe?
Cleric
We have,
ascending.
we have a dozen clerics. I hope so.
Yeah. Also, I can teleport back there in a day if I have 10 minutes to build the circle because the temple on Darktoe is known to me. So,
But
we
you don't have.
just.
We don't have
you
a
don't
circle
have
on the ship.
You don't have a circle on the ship, bud.
I would just make one.
It takes
That
a year
costs
to have a
money.
permanent
No,
circle.
no. The spell.
You need a permanent
Teleportation circle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
you
get
need
back to the
the-
ship, you need
Yeah.
a permanent one.
Yeah, teleportation
Yeah.
circle gets you to
Ah.
a known permanent circle. You can't
Got
just
it.
make
Teleport.
one. Yeah, teleport's what
Tele-
you're thinking of. You can just boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom,
that's
boom,
what
boom.
Jajal has. Jajal
Well,
has
so
access to teleport.
It's a one-way trip until I find someone that has
Yeah.
one. Here.
Until you find another circle close by that you could take down the
Hoop sticks. you're right.
signature for.
Yeah, we're kind of a little bit eliminate. We want to keep the seafaring thing here as much as we
Yeah.
can.
So,
Because again, I would say with anything, like, I mean, you have been given, you make your decisions. I think that's Mal and the Whiskers very much like, you're going to come up with stuff, you're going to get information, you're going to have to decide what to do.
It's gonna get weird.
By a couple dozen
But
feet
we've-
away.
I think we've kind of gotten confused as to what this group was assigned to securing refugees, likely high combat with negotiation, and now we're on Varithia's trail.
No, we're
Which
actually
was
talking
Vibe.
to Varithia directly.
Yeah,
which was
so-
the Vibe's original thing. So we've
Unless
crossed
it's just a
paths.
different person with the same name.
We lost you.
Your mic's out.
We crossed the streams, and so we're like, wait, what are we doing?
From a couple
Yeah.
dozen.
Yeah, and I think, I would say you all would just make your decision based on, okay, so your characters have this thing, they have an opportunity, what are they going to try to do, Or are they going to try to, hey, it wasn't our job to give Arithia, and we're just going to try to secure the island. And maybe we'll, because you could go along with it and double cross her and decide you are
'cause
taking her or not take her, but,
Our-
there's things you could do, right? So,
Wait,
Twice.
so
double
what again
cross.
was our orders essentially? Was it to
you all
take the
signed your
island?
own orders, so don't talk to me.
Yeah.
I think
I was asking the group.
Yeah.
I don't
we were
This would be
sent out
very
to
clear.
find Varithia, like get a definite location on Varithia.
Yeah,
and now
because
we have
you were,
that.
yeah, and you possibly Helen Mundell,
Mhm.
within the Shattered Teeth.
Yes.
You
So
were
our
like-
job was to find Varithia, and what was the other one?
Helen Mandel.
Say that again.
Yeah. So Halamundel was the
Halamundel.
one that was. Yeah. I mean, they both were in Icaros for a while, but Varithia was the one that supposedly started the bombing runs. Wrong way to say it. The attacks on various cities.
Yeah.
Halamundel was there, I think, ahead of time, either teaching or mentoring or something.
Yeah, Helen
was her
Mandel
teacher.
was Varithia.
Yeah.
So our job is to get Varithia, or at least find her. which we've done. So I think however we want to go about getting her out of there is
Well,
the way to go.
there's
'Cause
still the
we
question
want
of
to
capture kill, right? So like, what are we gonna do when we actually have our
I
hands around her?
think it's the classic, wanted poster, dead or alive. Alive, is going to be better
Reward, yeah.
in the long term, but it's going to be probably harder. So I'd say try to capture, because we've got the jail that's got some special stuff about it.
Force cage jail.
Yeah. And so
Oh.
that's going to do a real good job of keeping her trapped there if we can
Unless
get
she
her
has
in
a way
it.
to teleport, because you can still teleport out of those.
How about this? And you see, she's up there on one of the yard arms doing upside down crunches while everybody's talking. And how
Well, I
about
assume
we just
I would actually assume that we're in the war
In the
room,
war room,
which has
yeah.
private sanctum cast on it, so we can't get spied on.
okay?
So
So
Kaz just had a bar.
I mean, that wasn't that.
Oh,
If it was up to Airman, we would be out there. But I'm assuming that somebody here is smart enough or wise enough to tell us to go into the war room. It's not
hanging
Airman.
some
Yeah,
bars off the angle irons. But yeah, so doing the upside down crunches and saying, why don't we just let them fight each other and then attack halfway through when they're, battered.
We don't know that they're fighting as of yet. They're,
Well, 'cause-
they're at odds, but I don't know that they're currently fighting. Was that the case, Belden?
We know there's a time frame in which, in the static character, a time frame in which Berthia's side expects to break through. It was repairs.
But they're trying to break out.
There
Is
are
that correct? They're
3
trapped
days.
in
3
currently?
days to break through the stone.
They said their reparations should be complete in 3 days,
Yeah.
and they're working on getting through this stone wall that the League has put up on the island.
So they're not actually fighting the League right now. They're just breaking through their...
It's almost
Stuff.
seems like the League has trapped them on the island and they're trying to get out.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's what it is.
But they also claim to be able to meet us in person on the west side of the island, which is to say, at the very least, we should be able to show
Well,
up.
that's
at
not
the
what
top
was said.
of
They
the
said
wall.
they'd send a voice.
I see.
She
Fly
said,
as a red
"Make
bird
whatever
on the
voices."
east side of the island
Yeah.
to see Verithia. Okay.
She said she'd send one of her voices.
Yeah.
We don't know what that means.
Somebody's probably going to cast sending or message or something.
Okay.
How did she initiate conversation with you in the first place?
As it turns out, it was some form of telepathy, like sending, but she'd actually have to have seen me or known I was there in order to do so. As a small bird, she'd have to detect that I was magical at the time. Then she'd have to understand that I was sentient, or at least try it. And then she'd have to put at least her thoughts in my head. So imagine like Rary's Bond, but like at distance, or sending probably. But she'd have to have eyes on me, or someone have to have eyes on me, to put the thoughts in my head to be sure.
The fact that she saw through your guise is
It's a basic
worrying.
polymorph. It's not uncommon. If you can see magic, you can see the bird looks weird.
I
mean,
can see
obviously,
magic, but at a limited range.
Well, that's fair. True Sight would do it though. I'm just saying it's not exactly robot surgery. Oh, it's
Wouldn't
a
that be an
holism.
Wouldn't that be an artifice? Not
Golems, for example, right? Homunculi?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
There we go.
Belden is making perfect sense. I don't see what you guys aren't
Non-sentient
getting here.
creature surgery. Does that make sense? Artifice? Golems? Anybody? Nobody?
No.
I've heard
That's
tale
fine.
of the Aormatons, but
Yeah,
They're-
automaton's the same idea.
So
Anything built and not living.
I think the question here is: are we going to try to help Verithia in one way, shape, or form? And if so, to what extent?
Why on earth are we helping our enemy?
Well, unless
Because
helping
they're
her also
entangled with another
include
enemy.
by helping I mean also getting her out of there, because right now she is trapped,
Yeah,
or killing
we
her.
could
If we want to
definitely
just
take care of
try to
both
kill
of
her.
these people if we decide and just capture her at the end. We can learn about both the League and what she has going on, and then take her at the end.
2 gifts with 1 stone.
Trinus, did you have a different point you're trying to make?
No.
Okay. Cass, thoughts?
All right, so I think let's go. Why don't we go ahead and have the characters probably do a vote? I think is probably the easiest way to do this. And then, unless anyone wants to do something else, because it sounds like there's a few different ones, and then just go with
Yeah.
the way. Unless you want to do it some other way.
Personally, I'd like to see her and maybe understand her before we kill her. I'm not saying she necessarily deserves to live, but I'm very curious about what kind of person decides to wipe out multiple coastal cities at the same time to return them back to nature. I'm just curious, maybe.
I'd be
A
comfortable.
sociopath.
Yeah. I'd be
That's
comfortable
who does
making
that.
my vote after we hear from Verithia.
I at least would
So
like
I
to
think-
see Verithia.
So
we
it's-
have to see her to kill her, so
So it sounds like we've got two series of votes to go through. First, do we just immediately go and try to kill her, or do we want to try to talk to her first? And then after that, how to go about doing what we decide from the first vote. Does that sound fair? Or correct?
Yeah.
I think going into the situation, if we decide to see what she's like, we probably need to know what our backup plan is immediately, because we can't be discussing and debating in the middle of a is it time to kill her, is it not time to kill her scenario. Reasonable?
Yeah.
If we kill her now, we don't learn anything.
you can have your conversations as long as at the end of it she's tasting one of my bolts.
Reasonable.
I thought we were bringing her back.
It's more difficult.
Under
and
ideal
expensive that way.
situations, I think that would be the goal, because then we can get information as far as, the whole operation plan. It's just because of the scale of it, I'm not sure if we have the ability to decide exactly what to. I don't think it's necessarily going to be, we're definitely going to take her alive because we know we can do that. I think that's pretty hopeful thinking. So, vote. Discussion with her first, or just start planning on how to attack her?
Discussions. Yeah,
I'm
it's
fine
easier
with you
to-
all talking.
Okay. So,
Discussion.
we need to... Sounds like majority of us are in favor of having a discussion with her first.
It could be beneficial.
The more
Okay.
we gain her trust, the easier it would be able to lure her into our jail or something else.
Yes. So first, let's try to maneuver our ship in a way that will be less likely to be spotted by anybody else that's just, looking around. Hopefully they haven't already spotted us. And also try to position as close to wherever we are supposed to meet with one of her voices, I believe is what Belden said.
Correct. And then once the ship is in position, we send a small team to go talk with them, maybe. Or worse.
I think we are the small team.
Yes.
Well, I was planning on leaving some crew behind, but okay.
What, the 6 of us?
We, the 6.
Yeah, we have all the other crew behind.
Yes, us, the commanding officers and the
Officers?
operations officer. You're kind of the lone operations officer at the moment, so you're kind of just in charge of, you're just kind of being grandfathered in,
Right.
roped into it.
All right. So it sounds you're gonna signal her, make the signal when you can here after you've hidden the ship.
Yep. And whatever side we're meeting her on, unless it's the exact same side as was the port, which is my guess the side that we're going to want to avoid as much as possible with all the other ships, because I feel like that's the area that's most likely to have people just, looking out and maybe seeing something.
Sounds good. All right. So that's where we'll pick up next week. So we'll end for now and get to that there. All right, everyone watching, thank you so much, and we will see you
Good night.